A seismic shift is rumbling through North America's economic landscape. Its epicenter is in the most unexpected place: Canada. Canada has just dropped a bombshell that could utterly transform the continent's trade relationships. Canada's proposal of a 100% tariff on Tesla vehicles isn't just another trade spat, it's a deliberate, calculated strike at America's clean energy crown jewel. This is a direct challenge to U.S. economic dominance. This unprecedented move reveals that Canada is no longer willing to play by America's rules. The repercussions could redraw the global economic map. The audacity of Canada's move cannot be overstated. By targeting Tesla, Canada is aiming directly at America's most valuable automotive company. Tesla is the undisputed leader in the EV revolution. With Tesla commanding 70% of the U.S. electric vehicle market, this isn't just a symbolic gesture. It's a surgical strike designed to inflict maximum damage. A 100% tariff would effectively double Tesla prices in Canada. This would potentially add $5,000 or more to each vehicle. Such a dramatic price increase would devastate Tesla's competitive position. This could potentially wipe out a significant portion of the 50,000 vehicles the company sells there annually. While American EVs face this brutal tariff barrier, European electric vehicles are being welcomed with open arms. This isn't coincidental, it's strategic. Canada is deliberately redirecting its $50 billion automotive trade flow away from its southern neighbor. They are moving it toward European partners. The message couldn't be clearer. If the U.S. wants to play hardball with tariffs, Canada is ready to play harder and with new teammates. The ramifications extend far beyond Tesla's balance sheet. Canada produces over 2 million vehicles annually, many destined for U.S. dealerships. If this trade conflict escalates, the entire integrated North American automotive supply chain could unravel. This supply chain is worth hundreds of billions. Plant closures, job losses, and market disruptions would ripple through communities on both sides of the border. For investors, the warning signs are flashing red. Tesla stock, already volatile, could face significant downward pressure. Analysts are recalculating growth projections without robust Canadian sales. The roots of this conflict trace back to the Trump administration's aggressive America First trade policies. Heavy tariffs were slapped on Canadian aluminum, steel, and other exports. The assumption in Washington was that Canada would have no choice but to absorb the blow. This catastrophic miscalculation revealed a fundamental misunderstanding of Canada's economic resilience. It also showed a misunderstanding of their diplomatic resolve. Instead of capitulation, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau responded with precision counterstrikes. He targeted American agricultural products and consumer goods with equal force. But Trudeau's strategy extends far beyond mere retaliation. Canada has systematically accelerated trade agreements with the European Union. They have forged new partnerships with nations from Indonesia to Ecuador. Canada has drastically reduced its economic dependence on U.S. markets. This isn't improvisation. It's the execution of a long-term plan. It aims to insulate Canada from American economic volatility and political unpredictability. Perhaps most alarming for Washington is the budding strategic minerals alliance between Canada and the European Union. This partnership directly challenges China's dominance. China has 90% dominance in critical minerals essential for everything from electric vehicles to smartphones. These minerals are also essential for renewable energy infrastructure. By building an alternative supply chain for lithium, cobalt, nickel, and other crucial elements, Canada and Europe are securing their industrial futures. They are sending an unmistakable message to the United States. If you fall behind on collaborative trade strategies, you'll be excluded from the foundations of tomorrow's economy. The transformation doesn't stop at minerals and manufacturing. Canada's energy relationship with the U.S. is undergoing its own quiet revolution. This relationship was long taken for granted in Washington. Few Americans realize that Canadian energy powers millions of U.S. homes and businesses. Hydroelectricity from Quebec keeps lights on in New York and Vermont. Canadian natural gas heats homes across the northern states. Canadian uranium fuels nuclear plants, generating electricity for countless communities. This energy integration was once seen as unbreakable. Today, nothing seems certain. Canada has steadily diversified its energy exports. They have signed major deals with Asian markets. Where once 97% of Canadian oil flowed south to the U.S., new pipelines and shipping terminals are redirecting that flow across the Pacific. While an immediate energy cutoff remains unlikely, the long-term trajectory is clear. Canada is methodically reducing its energy export dependence on the United States. American agriculture has become collateral damage in this escalating trade war. When the U.S. imposed a 25% tariff on Canadian agricultural products, Canada's response targeted America's heartland. Retaliatory tariffs on corn, soybeans, beef, and dairy products have devastated farming communities across the U.S. Export costs have skyrocketed, demand has collapsed, and prices have plummeted. American dairy farmers who relied heavily on Canadian markets are facing financial ruin. Livestock producers watch helplessly as their products become unaffordable for Canadian consumers. The agricultural crisis extends beyond immediate financial pain. As American farmers struggle, international competitors are rushing to fill the void. European, Mexican, and Chinese agricultural exports are capturing market share previously dominated by U.S. producers. Small family farms are being forced to sell to large agribusinesses. This accelerates rural consolidation and transforms the fabric of agricultural communities. The psychological toll on farmers cannot be quantified. They are watching generations of work collapse. It manifests in rising mental health crises across rural America. Globally, these seismic shifts are reconfiguring trade networks and diplomatic alliances. Europe's growing unease with Washington's unpredictable foreign policy has accelerated its military independence. France has taken the lead in organizing enhanced defense partnerships. They are also focused on supply chain security and increased military spending. All of this happens while reducing NATO dependence. The Western alliance, once seemingly unbreakable, is fragmenting into regional power centers pursuing their own interests. What we're witnessing isn't just a trade dispute, it's the potential collapse of American economic hegemony. The tariff-centered strategy meant to protect American industries is instead isolating them from global markets. International partners are building independent networks that exclude the U.S. American businesses find their global market share shrinking. Each retaliatory measure drives another nail into the coffin of American economic dominance. Canada's strategic pivot is particularly instructive. Rather than merely finding new markets for existing products, Canada is investing heavily in future-oriented industries. These include renewable energy, green technology, and sustainable mining practices. These investments aren't just environmentally responsible, they're economically prescient. By positioning itself at the forefront of the green economy, Canada is establishing leadership in the next wave of global economic growth. They are also reducing U.S. dependence. The ultimate irony may be that protectionist policies designed to strengthen America's economic position are accomplishing the opposite. As trading partners diversify away from U.S. markets, American influence diminishes. The economic isolation that follows could leave the U.S. struggling to compete. Former allies have built robust, independent trade networks. Without a dramatic shift in strategy, the United States risks becoming an economic island. It would be in a sea of new trade relationships. The U.S. would be powerful, but increasingly irrelevant to global commerce. What began as a tariff on Canadian metals has evolved into a fundamental restructuring of global economic relationships. Canada's audacious targeting of Tesla represents a declaration of economic independence. It is not just another move in an ongoing trade dispute. The message to Washington couldn't be clearer. The era of American economic dictation is over. Unless U.S. trade policy evolves to recognize the changing global landscape, the world's most powerful economy may find itself watching from the sidelines. Former partners are building a new economic order without them.